What's going on, Falcon fans? It's your boy Ricondo coming back at you with another video. In just a minute. So, guys, today we're going to talk about the Atlanta Falcons versus the Denver Broncos in Mile High Stadium, going for the seventh win and trying to get a win before the bye. Right? That's what they got to do. They got to get this win, guys. Don't want to go 2 weeks, moping and things like that, losing 2 games in a row. So they got to come out. They got to play well. The Denver Broncos is kind of upset for how they lost the game last week. So they're going to come out motivated as well at home, trying to get a win, trying to go to 6-5. So it's important for the Atlanta Falcons to be ready to go. You know, and strike first against this Denver Bronco. It's a really good Denver Bronco team, especially from a defensive standpoint. And the Atlanta Falcons got to come out and they got to be really, really locked in. Yes, it's the game before. I hope nobody's thinking about that bye, but that bye would feel so much better if the Atlanta Falcons can actually come out and get a win to make sure that they're doing the things that they want to do. All right. So, guys, with that being said, if you have not already, go ahead and please subscribe to the channel. Please hit the notification bell so you know I drop another video. Please hit the like button so I know you guys out here that talk about. Then please share my video throughout the YouTube universe so more people can come in here and talk about these Atlanta Falcons. So, guys, Wednesday, the day I always talk about the upcoming game. I know you guys saw me yesterday on here, but I was a day late from recapping the previous game. So back on the day. Glad you guys come in and hang out with me for however long I'm gonna be on here tonight. But we got to get to it. We got to talk about these damn Broncos and make sure that I give you my thoughts on what I think is going to take for Atlanta Falcons to get a W going into that bye in week 11. So the crazy thing about this, the Atlanta Falcons schedule, this will be the 11th straight game, right? If you counted the 3 preseason games, that's 14 games the Atlanta Falcons have played. Of course, a lot of those guys did not play in the preseason, so you know that goes without being said. But it's a lot of games for people to be able to come out, play football, 11 straight games, and that's pretty bad, right? So good thing the Atlanta Falcons need this bye, big time. They really need this bye, but if they can get a win from this bye, it's going to be good. So with that being said, since they've been playing 11 weeks, guys, the crazy thing about this Atlanta Falcons team is the injury report, and it's probably the longest injury report I have seen in a long time. Looking at the NFL team. Now the Atlanta Falcons went through walkthrough this day like they did last Wednesday. Hope that's not an omen. Going through walkthroughs and stuff on Wednesday, but going through walkthroughs, you know, being able to do more mental reps than physical reps on Wednesday, and they, getting Landis science and athletic, training staff, lead the way in that those decisions to make them do those kind of things. But playing 11 straight weeks, it's tough for any team. And then to think about, after that, you still got to go about 6 or 7 more weeks. It's crazy, right? So that's huge for the Atlanta Falcons, to take advantage of, these walkthroughs and things to get the mental reps down. But looking at the injury report for today on Wednesday, full practice. Two guys that was listed on the injury report last week was Drake London and Drew Dalman. Both of those guys was full practice. So it looked like Drew Dalman is probably going to be back this week. Raheem Morris said today is no center controversy, but you have to tip your hat off to Ryan Newsel. He did a great job holding down the fort while Drew Dalman was out. Now he's on on the track to be back. And Drake London seemed like that hip corner is feeling a whole lot better. So he's a full go today. Even though today was a walkthrough, like I said, they did not do a whole lot of probably running around and things like that. All right, the next status is the limited practice. And guys, this is where the list get pretty long. Don't get too alarmed. A lot of these guys probably just making sure to get some of the soreness out. Like I said, 10 straight weeks. So Lorenzo Carter coming back off the IR today. A guy that went out for concussions for IR, but he's coming back, which I think is going to be really huge for the Atlanta Falcons. And I'll talk about that in just a minute. But Lorenzo Carter coming back, a guy that's really good in the run. Haven't gave me that much in the pass rush, but a guy that's been rested, come back. Hopefully he can contribute in somehow, some way. Kirk Cousins ended up on the limited practice injury report today, and it was shoulder, and elbow. I think that he just probably resting. Mike Hughes, we know he went out the game with a neck. He was limited today, but it sounds like he might be able to go this week. Tyler Algier with a hamstring, he was limited. Um, JD Bertrand, he's out for a couple of weeks with a concussion. This will be his third week if he's not able to go to come back. So JD Bertrand is definitely a guy that we're going to be looking at. Troy Anderson, we saw him leave the game. Um, in the Inks game, but for what Raheem Morris had to say today, look like he's going to be able to go this week. We'll see to go back out there and try again. Chris Lindstrom, we know he was having troubles, but he's listed on the limited practice. Ryan Newsel, I just talked about him. We were filling in for Drew Dalman. He's on the limited practice today. And then you got Zach Harrison with an Achilles strain. So all those guys was listed limited today, which is, you know, they have to put them on report. But like I said, the day was really not a physical practice. They did a lot of walkthrough. So, but the Falcons just doing their due diligence, making sure that they don't get in trouble by not listing the guys that didn't probably participate in all of the practice, and then get fined or something like that. So we don't want that to happen. So good on the Atlanta Falcons putting the injury report out there. It don't matter either way. Um, but just put everybody out there. The last category would be the guys that did not practice at all. One name that I did not know was going to show up on here was D. Alford's name. He did not practice today. That's interesting. Now the Atlanta Falcons was reported they signed Lamar Jackson, the cornerback, today to the practice squad. So that could tell you why they went that direction to sign, because also cornerback Antonio Hamilton Jr. is also did not practice today. So there's two of our cornerbacks did not practice today. Like I said, that the Atlanta Falcons actually brought in Lamar Jackson, cornerback, to fill that role. He's on the practice squad. We'll see if he'll get elevated. Depends on, the availability of guys like D. Offer and Antonio Hamilton Jr. James Smith Williams, we know he went out on Monday. Raheem Morris said didn't look well, but we know he probably won't play this week at all. So that's one thing. Charlie Warner is out with a concussion. That's not good. Probably our best blocking tight end out there. So that's something that we definitely got to look at. But they got Dwelly as well, so he's probably going to fill that role. But looking at a guy like Charlie Warner, definitely a guy that missed out on. And then last but not least, Taquan Graham, probably going to be out for the season. Raheem Morris talked about his pec, so that's something that we definitely got to look at. So you're looking at that injury report, guys. I don't think I ever spent that long on an injury report for the Atlanta Falcons, but like I said, a lot of these guys limited practice, just probably for precautionary reason. I think every last one of those guys had potential going. That's was limited today, and that's Lorenzo Carter, Kirk Cousins, Mike Hughes, Tyler Algier, J.D. Bertrand, Troy Anderson, Trish Lindstrom, Ryan Newsome, and Zach Harrison. I think every last one of those guys more likely will be ready to go. The guys that did not practice, guys like D. Alford and Antonio Hamilton Jr., that's concerned. To our defensive backfield, maybe not as much, because it's not like the Denver Broncos have a vaulted passing offense, but we've seen with no-name receivers that haven't did a whole lot come out and beat us. Not saying that Denver Broncos don't have good receivers, because they do, but just wanting to throw that out there. So there you have it, guys. Injury report for the Atlanta Falcons. A lot of guys on there. Good to see Drake and Drew ready to go, and I'm not worrying about guys like Kirk Cousins, Troy Anderson, Chris Lindstrom. Look like they're gonna be ready to go. Mike Hughes is a big one. We'll see if he'll be able to go back, especially with we just talked about D. Alford and Antonio Hamilton Jr. So we're definitely ready to see about all those guys. All right. Let's go to the next topic. All right, so let's get into the actual game That's going to be playing. It is not this afternoon game. I think it's a 4:25 game Eastern time. So instead of have to giving up and get ready for the game, you get to watch other games first and get you ready to go. Get your popcorn ready, right? All right. So looking at the offensive game plan for this week for the Atlanta Falcons. Um, um, First of all, we do have to talk about the Denver Broncos defense. Only allowing 17 points a game. Um, 192 passing yards a game, and 103 rushing yards. So this is a really good Denver Broncos defense. It's going to be tough sledding for our Atlanta Falcons to be able, you know, to be as explosive they have been, in the last couple weeks. Um, but with that being said, Atlanta Falcons got to establish the run game. They need to establish the run game. It's really important for the Atlanta Falcons to establish the run game this week because um, the Denver Broncos got 35 sacks, which is second in the league. Those guys are humming right now. Um, so we got to be able to not get back into a drop back passing game with Kirk Cousins, a guy that's not going to move a whole lot. So we got to be able to establish a run. That just goes without saying. We like the trajectory that Bijan Robinson is on right now. He's just out there dogging. He's just doing his thing. Um, so we'll be able to feature him as much as we can. And he's one guy that I think even in the passing game can create mismatches. So that'd be huge to see Bijan Robinson be utilized. But we need to run the ball, which is like I said, keep that pass rush at bay and be able to control the clock up in the Mile High Stadium. So that's what we want to see. Um, Another thing we want to do, we want to be really, really good on third downs, right? We need to be good on third downs, and that help you, like I said, sustain drive and things like that. So being good on third down is always what we need to see from this Atlanta Falcon team. We just got to be good on third down. We do that. I think this really will help the Atlanta Falcons um, get to where they want to be. Run the ball, be really good on third down, and then the thing that been killing Atlanta Falcons all season long is penalties. Penalties is just it's just not freaking good. It's like the timing of the penalties as well, right? Like you got to get if you're gonna get a 10-yard penalty, get it on the opposite side of the field. Don't get we're in the red zone by the score and then you get pushed back and then you don't put any points on the board. That's just sickening. So these penalties that the Atlanta Falcons are getting is it's not helpful at all. So that's what we got to do. We got to run the ball, control the clock. You want to be able to keep that pass rush at bay as much as you can. We want to be really efficient on third down. We want to be more than the league average. We want to be over 50% if possible because that means we're getting first downs. We're moving the change. We're keeping their defense out there, you know, but we're keeping our defense off the field. That's what you want to see. So let's see can we make that happen. Um, and I think the Atlanta Falcons have a great chance to be happy flying back to Atlanta. Going for that week bye. So that's one thing we definitely got to look at. You like what we've seen there, but I know the Atlanta Falcons, haven't had two bad games this year. That says a lot. So I think they're gonna be ready to go. We know that them Broncos gonna be ready to go. Vance Joseph is a good defensive coordinator. They talked about his blitzes, his blitz packages, and things like that. Um, their defensive front is playing really well. We know about Patrick Surtain on the back end at cornerback. So, he's going to try to shut down one of our receivers. So it's going to be tough sledding. But at the same time, the Atlanta Falcons need to come in with a good game plan. We talked about the game plan, that we had against the Seattle Seahawks. Um, I thought the game plan against the Aints was decent. We just didn't execute the way we need to execute. Um, looking at that game with the Aints, man, I didn't realize that the Atlanta Falcons hold the Saints to 5 straight 3-and-outs in the second half, and our offense just didn't get execute to get the win there. That's huge. 5 straight 3-and-outs, and we still couldn't win that game. That's a telltale. What the Atlanta Falcons was able to do. They came to play. We just didn't execute in all three phases, so that's why we lost the game. But for this Denver Broncos game, run the ball, be good on third down, and no costly penalties. That's what we could need to do. That's our offensive game plan, guys. It's way more difficult than like when I came out here and I talked about the Dallas Cowboys game plan. This is something because this team can really play, especially from a defensive side of the ball. So Atlanta Falcons offense need to be ready. We got to be able to protect Kirk Cousins, give him time to go through the progressions, and but if we can run the ball, establish that with Tyler and Bijan, I think it's going to be huge for us. All right, defensive game plan. So this this Denver Broncos offense is not something to cry home about, right? But the reason they've been in so many games because we just talked about it, their defense is really good. But they 28th in passing, 20th in rushing, and they 24th in yards per game, right? So they're in the 20s in all three of those categories. Um, this is where you tell a team like Atlanta Falcons, from a defensive standpoint, um, we don't want these guys to go off, right? We don't want them to be above their yearly averages per game when they come to play the Atlanta Falcons. So we need to play really solid defense. The big thing about this defense, what needs to happen is the containment of Bo Nix. We know he like to move outside the pocket. He's a great athlete. Um, the off schedule things, he haven't really mastered that as well as you would like, from a Denver Broncos standpoint. But those how you make plays when you start to run around, extend plays, off schedule throws and things like that can become explosive plays. So the Atlanta Falcons need to contain a guy like Bo Nix. For me, if I want to go out and look at a film to how to stop somebody like Bo Nix, I go look at the Tampa 2 from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers when they used to play Mike Vick. You know, their pass lanes was always not really to try to get Michael Vick on the ground. It was to keep him contained in the pocket and force him to be a passer, right? That's what you want to do with Bo Nix. You want to force him to be a thrower of the ball, not running around trying to get yards, making things happen. I think that will be huge for this Atlanta Falcons team. All right, we just got to be able to do that. Like I said, 20th in rushing. They're not getting the ball as much as they want to from a rushing standpoint. So we don't want to be that team that get their rushing game going. I mentioned that so many times about Atlanta Falcons run defense, but we got to be able to do better than we've been doing. So we got to fix that rushing defense, and if we do that, I think at the end of the day, Atlanta Falcons will be great. Contain Bo Nix, keep him in the pockets, make him a passer, and then we can't let that running game get going. Sean Payton is really good at trying to get his players the ball, getting his making his quarterback comfortable with easy throws and things like that. So anticipate that. We do got to worry about the RPO in this game because of the quarterback Bo Nix, and everybody understands when it's the RPO, you play your assignments, you can stop it, right? So that's the whole key of trying to do something on the defensive side of the ball. Um, don't let him get explosive plays. Cortland Sutton has a pretty good year. Um, hope AJ or you know, go everywhere he goes. He be his tag team partner in the game. That would be really great. This is Justin Simmons, per se homecoming. So hopefully he plays well. His family's still out here in Denver. So it's going to be interesting to see how these guys play. They especially got to redeem themselves from how they played their first half of that New Orleans Saints game. Second half was almost damn near perfect, giving up only 3 points, and the way they played without that last play, not even counting anyway, because Alvin Kamara, that was a great play call, leaking out Alvin Kamara on a wheel route. He just dropped the ball. So plays like that, things like that, that's what we got to think about and consider when we're looking at this Atlanta Falcon team. Um, but we'll see what Justin Simmons is all about. We'll see what J.C. Bates can, create some kind of havoc like he does on the road. We need stuff like that. We really do. That's what I hope. That's what we can do. But from the defensive standpoint, the Falcons need to play their game. We're not going to even talk about the pass rush because I don't want to get pissed off about it when we just talk about the Denver Broncos got 35 and the Atlanta Falcons have 9. Right? You can't even count the Atlanta Falcons sacks with both hands. You don't need to. Just need just need 4 fingers on the left hand, right? So that's just sad, man. Just sad. I'm not gonna even get into it because it start just don't know what to say about the pass rush at all. But this is where you want to be able to use that pass rush in a different way. You want to be able to get upfield. You want to be able to hold maintain. You don't want to let him leak out the back door as well. Maybe they even have to use a spy. I don't know, but we can't let Bo Nick's legs beat us. We need to want to make him a passer, and we want to be able to stop the run. So they have to be what we consider one dimensional. That's what we do from a defense standpoint. Will be what we need to see. What we need to see. All right. And then the last thing we're going to talk about today is the Falcons need to get this win by any means necessary. They need to get this win, guys. They're able to get this win. It will be really huge for our Atlanta Falcons team to go into the bye. They'll have that seventh win while the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are idle, putting a virtually a 4-game lead on that team because they haven't played yet. Remember, we got the tiebreaker. So if they tie with us, they have to at least win one more game with us than we do. So right now, Atlanta Falcons sitting really, really good where they're sitting NFC South. But this win before we go in our bye will be really, really huge, and we'll put another, you know, gap between us, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So that's going to be huge. So what I mean by any means necessary, you need to pull out our stuff. You got trick plays, go ahead and throw them out. Um, like I said, you need to be really efficient on third downs. That's what you got to do. If you got blitz packages, throw them at Bo Nix. You want to be able to go back on the plane back to Atlanta in a great mood, man. That's what you want. So this is huge for Atlanta Falcons. They want to show what kind of team they want to be, the resolve that they got. Yes, the Denver Broncos was pissed off too because they gave away a game with the Kansas City Chiefs, but now they got to play Atlanta Falcons, another pissed off team. Uh, coming off a game that we definitely felt like we should have won that game, but didn't. So now it's time for Atlanta Falcons to stand up, right? We need to make sure everybody come in, focus, and let's do it for Justin Simmons if we don't do it for anybody else. And for Falcon fans, let's do it to beat Sean Payton as well, right? Guy who's in thorn in our backside for so many years. When he was with the New Orleans Saints. So that's what we got to do. By any means necessary, Atlanta Falcons need to come out, make sure they get a win, do the things they got to do, and I believe that Atlanta Falcons can do this. Definitely want to hear from you guys. Leave comments. Make sure you share this video throughout the YouTube universe. Make sure people come in. Let them know this is where the real Falcon fans come to talk, Falcons football. Um, I'm going to tell you what I feel, honestly, truth, and everything like that. And I want you to tell me the same, right? Thank you guys for tuning in to the show tonight. Like I said, I know I was on here last night, talked for about like an hour. So if you didn't watch that show, please go back and watch the show from yesterday when I recapped the New Orleans Saints game. And today was the day I was going to come back on here, talk about the Denver Broncos, and get that win before the bye by any means necessary. So, guys, there you have it. Eric Kondo, real Falcon fan, coming back at you with another video. Peace.